Hi, my name is Dr. Phil Selinsky. After spending about 20 years or so as a mechanical engineer designing machines, I went back to school and received my naturopathic certificate from the Anglo-American Institute for Naturopathic Studies. This was way back in 1980, before the naturopathic community was hijacked by a group of Western medicine-oriented individuals. There's a movement out there whose main purpose seems to be to interface age-old natural medicine practice with Western allopathic medicines, drugs, and surgery. Now, I assume one of the reasons for this is that the AMA controls the insurance industry, so in order to get insurance company recognition and payments, you join the club. I somewhat agree with the concept of learning about drugs, since almost everyone on the planet today has taken some kind of drug at one time in their life. Now, the part that I do agree with is learning to recognize the side effects of these drugs so that we can more effectively help the body purge the pharmaceutical chemicals from the body and return the body to some modicum of homeostasis or health. The part that I disagree with is the whole idea of take this pill for that symptom. In other words, fix me. Now, I'm of the old school that believes that the word doctor means teacher, not drug pusher or butcher. There's a huge difference in concept, philosophy, and practice between natural medicine and allopathic medicine. Don't get me wrong, I wholeheartedly support crisis medicine. One step before the undertaker, that is. Okay? I support the concept that all life expressions on this planet are connected, and they're also interrelated. Now, I've discovered that there's an intelligence that drives all life forms, and that all life forms, including humans, are instilled with a survival program that's designed to keep each individual organism in a state of ease, or a state of balance, or a state of homeostasis with itself and with all life forms on the planet, including the planet, by the way. Get this, understand this. Nature is always in balance. When a particular organism, including the human body, becomes unbalanced, a state of lack of ease or dis-ease exists. Now, this condition of dis-ease triggers a survival response in the organism. The symptoms of this survival response typically result in some type of discomfort or pain while the organism is attempting to either evict an invader or repair a damaged part. This balancing procedure is part of nature, and interference in this natural process of returning to balance will place the system in further jeopardy. For example, unnatural chemicals like drugs will always have side effects, and will many times cause other imbalances that can compound the original problem. My approach to a system in a state of dis-ease involves observation and experimentation, which, by the way, is the definition of the scientific method. First, I try to determine what the body is attempting to accomplish with the presenting symptoms. Now, this body is an electrochemical machine that is designed and wired to talk to us, the driver of this machine. The body is talking to us all the time, and it always tells the truth. The main problem is that most of us do not understand that pain is the language that the body uses to tell us that it's out of balance. But just like using unfamiliar words, if we can't connect the words with meanings, words are just gobbledygook sounds. So you can pronounce the words of a foreign language, but if you don't know what the words mean, there's no communication taking place. So over the years, I've learned to translate pain into English. Now, once we've determined what your body's trying to tell you, you'll have the opportunity then to do something about it. Or not. It's up to you. My job is to let you know what your body is trying to accomplish with the presenting pain or discomfort. It's your job to make the changes. Now, I can help you with that, but I want to be real clear. I do not fix or cure anyone, okay? Plastics and ham can be cured. The human body cannot be cured. It must heal itself if it's damaged. Now, I can show you how to do that, but you must take the responsibility for the function of your body. Now, I've studied a number of techniques to access information from the body without having to cut into it or submit it to harmful radiation. I analyze the shape and the posturing of the body along with smells and colors and condition of the skin to be able to determine what the body is trying to deal with or what it's attempting to get rid of that's resulting in the discomfort or chronic aches and pains that you feel. Now, I also test the sensitivity of acupuncture points and what are typically called trigger points that are located throughout the body. Now, these are like dashboard gauges and bells and whistles that give us, the driver of the machine, information from the engine compartment here that we can use to stay away from danger if we know the language. That's the critical part. This human machine of ours follows all the laws of physics. These laws apply to all the levels or octaves of vibration of consciousness, whether or not we can see them with our physical eyes. Now, I can't see the wind, but I can see what the wind does. I can't see electricity, but I can see what electricity does. I can't see the different energy fields of the human body, but I can certainly see the effects of the energy fields. By the way, some people can, in fact, actually see energy fields. I can't. I wish I could, but it would certainly help me in my work. As I previously stated, I cannot see the wind, but if I construct a sail on a boat, I can get the wind to move the boat across the water. I can't see electricity, but if I construct a device through which electrical energy can flow, I can create all types of motions and machines and things like we're talking to right now. Similarly, I can't see the energy flows of the human body, but if I apply electricity or magnetic energy or physical pressure or some type of stimulation to strategic places on the body, I can affect changes in the behavior and the performance of the human body, suggesting that there is some form of energy control over the human body that cannot be seen with the physical eyes. Coupling traditional Chinese medicine and ancient Ayurvedic principles of acupuncture with the discoveries of more recent researchers like maybe Dr. George Goodhart and others, I've been able to get the body to talk to me in a language that my engineering brain can understand. Now, every organ in the body has its own separate energy supply. The acupuncture meridians are named for the organ that they energize. Just like in your house where there are separate electrical circuits for each room or activity, each organ in the body has its own energy supply circuit. In your house, if you plug in too many electrical devices, they'll draw too much current and blow a fuse or a breaker. Then everything on the circuit shuts down. Well, obviously, this situation cannot be allowed to take place in the human body because, for example, if you blow a fuse on the heart circuit, you die. So whoever put this machine together figured that out and built in reserve tanks or energy capacitors into the circuit. The muscles of the body serve as reserve tanks of energy for the vital organ system. So when an organ has to work overtime, it wants to get paid time and a half, just like you do when you work a few extra hours. So that if an organ is under stress or chemically injured or just plain working hard, it'll draw extra energy from the reserve tank muscle or muscle group that's wired into that circuit. So, you know, when you want to use those muscles for something like carrying her around during the day, they run out of energy and they spasm. And that hurts. So now all I have to do is find the muscle that's chronically weak or painful, and we can tell which organ in your body is under stress or is not even working at all. And get this, we don't even need an x-ray machine. Now I mentioned that the muscles are wired into the organ circuits. If you remember the old Christmas tree lights, you know, where when one bulb burns out, the whole string of lights goes out. Then you have to spend all Christmas Eve screwing and unscrewing light bulbs to try to find the one that burned out. Well, the reason for this is that the lights were wired in series. Now that means that electricity flows from one bulb to the next, to the next, to the next. And when one burns out, it actually turns the entire circuit off because it breaks the circuit. Now, the organs and muscles in the body are also wired in series, so that when, for example, the pancreas is overloaded with work, or if it's even totally exhausted, the pancreas will rob energy from the latissimus dorsi muscle in the back, because they're wired together in series. So when we test the strength of the whole circuit, which of course powers both the muscle and the pancreas together, there's no gas in the tank. In other words, there's not enough energy for both the muscle and the organ, and the muscle will test weak. But when we take the pancreas out of the circuit, in other words, if we ground it out, then the muscle is strong because, you see, there's nothing wrong with the muscle. The pancreas has been draining energy from the circuit for some time, and the muscle by itself can't hold. But if we add energy to the pancreas by applying a jumper cable to certain points that will charge up the pancreas, both the pancreas and the muscle will now have equal energy, and the muscle will now test strong again. See, that's how I use this, the muscle testing technique. The same concept applies to all the organs and their corresponding indicator muscles. So by testing the strength of certain muscles and by pressing on the body to find certain sore spots, we can determine what the body is trying to communicate to you. And it really is this simple. The concept is not complicated. It takes about an hour to go through the whole body to determine where the energy flows are out of balance or which are causing your aches and pains. If the pains are the result of a momentary energy blockage or an imbalance due to a sudden traumatic experience or maybe even a digestive disturbance, the pain will probably be gone in maybe 1 or 2 sessions. But if the problem stems from a long-term organ stress or damage condition, it might take a few sessions to heal the organ that's responsible for the reserve tank muscle pain. Volumes 1, 2, and 3 of my book series, The Human Machine, A Troubleshooter's Manual, will explain in much more detail how all these circuits are connected and how they are interrelated and how they affect the body in the way we think and feel and behave. Volume 1 will show how structure governs function. In other words, the shape of something determines how or even if it can or will be used. Now, this means that the shape and proportion of your body will determine your potential default survival behavior. In other words, when we're under severe stress, our behavior is somewhat predictable based on our observable structure. This concept allows me to see that your behavior is not necessarily aimed at me. It's just your trait talking. So I don't need to get all upset and take it personally. This certainly makes it possible to interact with other people more amicably. Once you get on my website, if you click on the discussion topics on this website and then click on structure function, you'll get a small sample of how this concept works in real life. Now, volume 2 of the book series will show how blood chemistry drives behavior. Within your structural capacity, that is. Blood chemistry trumps intellect every time. It doesn't matter how smart or intelligent you are. Blood chemistry is going to determine how you feel and consequently how you behave. Every time, no fail. And where does blood chemistry come from? The food we eat and how we eat it and how it gets digested. Now, the ache and pain profiles in Volume 2 list most of the common aches and discomforts related to organ stress and malfunction, especially digestive organs, and, of course, what can be done to change the situation. Volume 3 specifically focuses on the digestive system and how stress leads to indigestion, which in turn lays the groundwork for cancers and other growths and debilitating tissue conditions to develop. You can look for the books in the product section of this website. I've also created an hour-long DVD that will lead you through a complete and rather thorough dis-ease assessment and treatment procedure. This is a routine that I use myself to determine where the problems are in the whole body. Every family should have one of these DVDs in the home to refer to use to ensure everyone's health and wellness. There's a major difference here between insurance and insurance. See, you insure for something, you insure against something. And for you folks who like Swedish type massage, I also created an hour-long DVD that will guide you through a very relaxing and invigorating lymphatic drainage massage that'll help to purge the toxins from your poor overworked body that are causing your aches and pains. Well, once again, the product section of this website will show you how to obtain these DVDs. Please feel free to browse the rest of this website for additional information on health maintenance procedures. There's lots of information here that you can dig up. I want to thank you very much for your interest in your human machine. I want you to think about this. This is a critical concept. If every individual cleaned up his or her own mess in their bodies and in their life, there by definition could not possibly be any community problems left to deal with. Think about it. Live what you believe and believe what you live. I dare you to do that. It's not easy. See, it doesn't matter to me what you do in fact believe, but if I can see that you are actually living what you do believe, I can trust you. And trust is critical for the survival of any society. And more importantly, your kids can trust you, and they can believe in you, and they can model your behavior. Thank you for listening.